and the judges can introduce themselves.
Good afternoon. I'm sure you're glad to be not only participating in the National We the People competition, but to be participating in the last session of the day. So we look forward very much to hearing your presentation. My name is Dan Taubman. I'm a senior judge on the Colorado Court of Appeals in Denver, Colorado.
My name is Ali Khan. I am an attorney in Chicago, as well as an alum of this program, participating for Illinois at nationals back in 1998.
Hi, good afternoon. Congratulations on making it to the national finals. My name is Ben Glickman. I'm an attorney with the California Attorney General's Office, and I'm also an alumnus of the program. I participated in the national finals on behalf of California way back in 1995.
Would you like to introduce yourselves and your teacher now, please?
It's awesome to meet you all. My name is Conrad Drews. I plan on attending the University of Nevada, Reno for political science. And outside of We the People, I participate in robotics club and tennis team.
Good afternoon, judges. My name is Laura Flynn. I plan to study psychology in the fall at University of Nevada, Reno. In addition to the We the People, I am the captain of my soccer and softball team and an officer for the National Honor Society.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicholas Pizka. In the fall, I plan to study economics. And in addition to We the People, I'm in National Honor Society and the captain of the cross country and track and field team. We are here with our teachers and coaches, Milton Himes, Ashley Nickel, Sean McClellan, and Ryan Spisman.
Well, thank you. And thank you for sharing some information about your personal backgrounds. This will not come as a big surprise to you, but we're going to ask you question 2 now, which I will now read. There is nothing I dread so much as a division of the Republic into 2 great parties, each arranged under its leader in opposition to each other. What issues led to the formation of the original political parties? To what extent have those issues persisted in American political parties? What are the advantages and disadvantages of a unified or divided government? You may begin.
Federalists and Democratic Republicans, the first political parties formed from divisions sown during the ratification of the Constitution. The major points of debates between these groups were foreign policy, the Alien and Sedition Acts, federalism, and economic vision. Specters of these issues still linger in politics today.
Regulating voting rights is at the forefront of issues dividing the 2 current parties. The Republican Party believes in ensuring honest elections through safeguards such as voter ID laws, which are regulated by the states. Georgia, along with 43 states, collectively introduced over 250 bills following the 2020 election that would impose new voter identification laws.
Conversely, the Democratic Party supports increased federal regulation over voting. Their current goals are to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the For the People Act to enfranchise more citizens.
At the heart of this division rests the same concept, federalism. This subject divided the Federalists and Democratic Republicans, who argued over the establishment of a national bank, the Supremacy Clause, and the Necessary and Proper Clause. Republicans and Democrats hold similar differences over voting, showing that this debate is alive and well today.
Another key issue in the modern era regards citizenship and immigration. The Republicans plan to eliminate sanctuary cities, dismantle human trafficking networks, and block illegal immigrants from becoming eligible for tax-funded welfare, healthcare, and free college tuition.
Meanwhile, the Democrats want to instate the DREAM Act, which makes the naturalization process easier for unauthorized immigrants who entered the country as minors.
These divisions between Republicans and Democrats mirror the spirit of the late 1700s. Specifically, Adams' Federalist administration wanted to expand residency requirements for citizenship and grant the government the ability to deport and arrest any male from an enemy country using the Alien and Sedition Acts. These actions demonstrate the long-standing divide on immigration and allude to the dangers of unified government.
A unified government occurs when elected branches belong to the same party. When there are different political parties in control among the branches, there is a divided government.
A unified government excels in speed and efficiency, but sacrifices compromise among opposing political ideologies. Recently, the Biden administration's unified government was able to quickly pass a $1.9 trillion relief bill that aided people negatively impacted by the pandemic without bipartisan support. This situation illustrates how effective unified government can be. However, there are often consequences to these actions.
For instance, the Affordable Care Act was passed during President Obama's first term without bipartisan support either, and it met heavy resistance in the following years, to the point that 26 separate states challenged its constitutionality.
Divided government encourages compromise between parties, but it contributes to legislative gridlock. Though Jefferson famously stated that delay is preferable to error, he may not have envisioned the extent of the delays seen in recent years. Ideally, Congress would emulate the bipartisan success of President George H.W. Bush's administration, as they did with the Americans with Disability Act in 1990.
Madison argued in Federalist 51 that the original intentions for factions was to strive towards the common good, but we agree with congressional scholars Thomas Mann and Norman Orstein in their book, It's Even Worse Than It Looks, that the benefits of parties are diluted due to the, quote, vast ideological gulf between parties and the lack of genuine deliberation and compromise among them. These aspects must face reform in order to preserve and restore our democracy. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statement. Let me start by asking you, to what extent do you think that there have been differences within the Republican Party and differences within the Democratic Party?
Oh, we've seen massive differences, like the platform of Biden versus the platform of Bernie Sanders are incredibly different within the party. And what also contributes to this is a spoiler vote that could be done by, like, for example, the Green Party, which could pull the party in a direction more progressive or less progressive by threatening to take voters away.
We can also see in the recent impeachment trial of former President Trump that a few Republican representatives did decide to convict President Trump as being guilty, while the rest of them did plead not guilty for his trial, showing that there is divisions even in a party loyalist idea in Congress.
Go ahead, Ollie.
Sure, thanks, Matt. Since this is often a issue of contention in today's politics, especially around especially every 4 years, would you support abolishing the Electoral College? Why or why not?
Absolutely. The Electoral College dilutes votes. California has one Electoral College vote per 700,000 people, while Wyoming only has one Electoral College vote per 195,000. And right now we've seen that 15 states plus the District of Columbia have already signed up on the national popular vote.
I would like to disagree with my colleague. I believe the Electoral College effectively protects rural interest in smaller states. However, we definitely need to reform the system. One way would be by going by a district by district Electoral College system instead of a winner takes all. We can see this happening in states such as Maine, but before we implement this system, we have to fix the issue of gerrymandering because it creates seats that are always going to be a certain way, political or Republican or Democrat, because they are so manipulated.
I agree. I think we need to take it an even step further and grant the right to vote to U.S. territories. We can see there are around 4 million constituents in these territories, and they contribute to not only paying taxes, but American Samoa has the highest military per capita in the country.
Great, thank you. I wanted to shift back to the discussion of third parties a bit. So third parties traditionally haven't had much success in America. Do you think that's a problem? And are there kind of structural changes you would propose to our government or to our system of elections that might help that?
Absolutely, it's a problem. Right now, I think the easiest solution and the most effective solution would be switching from first to the post voting system into a ranked choice voting system, which allows third parties to gain support and gives voters the freedom to not only or to vote their conscience and not with strategy. And we've seen this incredibly effective in places like Ireland and in the Australian Senate.
You mentioned that we need to fix gerrymandering. How do you propose that we do that?
Well, for example, we can adopt an amendment similar to the one in Nevada's Declaration of Rights, which under Section 13 of our rights, it says that representation shall be apportioned by population, and Nevada actually uses our state legislature to do that. And several sources have stated that Nevada is actually one of the least gerrymandered states in the country. So if we implement nonpartisan commissions who are not Republican or Democrat, we can effectively create districts that are not biased.
One of the reasons I support ranked choice voting so much is it also helps solve the issue of gerrymandering. By diluting the power and control of the two parties that are in charge of redistricting in most states, you could get a more accurate and more appropriate districts.
I agree. Another way that we could fix voting instead of gerrymandering is having the Supreme Court reverse its decision in Citizens United versus Federal Election Committee. In the past election, according to Open Secrets, cost upwards of $14 billion. This makes our politicians representative of not the people, but these immense corporations that gave them this money and power.
Okay. Do you think that we may, as a country, have less gridlock, less division, less polarization if we mandated that the president and vice president must be from different parties?
No, I don't think so. That's the original way we had it, and it proved dysfunctional. It really just creates even more legislative gridlock with no real bipartisan working together. If that was deployed, we would need to deploy it with something like earmarks to encourage political parties to cooperate.
In addition, I would disagree. I don't think that having a unified system under the executive branch affects gridlock. However, one system in Congress that does contribute to the gridlock is the idea of the filibuster. In our current modern day, that someone can just express their intent to filibuster rather than actually debating on the floor, which prevents the voting on several bills and just continues the fact that Congress is struggling to get anything done.
I completely agree. Ex-Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said that unfortunately now political parties are choosing scorched earth tactics over common ground, and we're absolutely seeing that in every branch of government, and we need to be fixing that.
So, I mean, why is gridlock a problem? Like, so what? Important stuff still gets done. Why is gridlock itself a problem?
Gridlock isn't a problem. I actually encourage it. But when it's done to such an extent that absolutely nothing gets done, and the only things that do get done are done through unintended means in the government, like the
I think that a little bit of gridlock is okay, but I think too much of it is a problem. We can see that this gridlock sort of started in the election of 1978 when Newt Gingrich brought forth his scorched earth tactics, where he was willing to do anything to win and that the ends justifies the means. The Republicans got together and basically roadblocked and would not negotiate with the Democrats. And this is a huge problem because we need some sort of bipartisanship in our government for it to.
Can you give us some examples of where, notwithstanding Newt Gingrich, where the parties have come together? I'll give you my phone number. You can call me later on and let me know what your answer would be. But I see seriously our time is up. So thank you for your presentation. Let's show our appreciation for the students. So let me share some thoughts. I thought you did a very nice job. I like your description about the basis for the creation of different parties from the beginning of our country. And I like your example of the President Biden's COVID relief bill and showing the value of unified government, but on the other hand, showing the limitations of the Affordable Care Act and how that could lead and did lead to litigation. If it had been more bipartisan, maybe we wouldn't have had so much litigation to try and set aside the Affordable Care Act. In answering questions, I thought that you did a good job in explaining the difference between the Biden and Sanders factions of the Democratic Party. And you mentioned also the Trump supporters and anti-Trump supporters. That was good. You might have mentioned the Tea Party, or you might have mentioned the Blue Dog Democrats, which are a more conservative faction of the Democratic Party. And when we were talking about the Electoral College, I was pleased to see that you talked about the National Popular Vote Compact. And Colorado is one of the states, apparently like Nevada, that supported it this past year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. If it does get enough states that support it, I'm sure it'll be challenged all the way up to the Supreme Court. And I like your discussion of gerrymandering and well, I'm trying to read my notes here. I can't, I'm not sure what I was going to say. Oh, yes, and gerrymandering, I was also pleased to see you were talking about nonpartisan commissions as a way of eliminating gerrymandering. Also, Colorado just established nonpartisan redistricting commissions too. And so we haven't heard that today. I think that was a good example of addressing the issue of gerrymandering, which in turn has caused party divisions. And then finally, when you were talking about whether it was a good idea to have the president and the vice president from the same party, one of you said, well, that's the way it originally was. You might have added that that was eliminated under the 12th Amendment, but that's a minor point. Otherwise, I think you did a really nice job in your presentation, and you should be very pleased with your presentation today.
First of all, again, congratulations again. I know, like I said, it takes a lot of time, effort, and commitment. So, please, you should feel proud of yourselves. I enjoyed listening to you all. I enjoyed the conversation. I loved how you all participated. You felt free to disagree. And with regard to the questions I asked, Electoral College and the vice president situation, I liked how you all jumped in, and you just didn't give an answer. I mean, you jumped in, you gave some, you gave some thought to why you agreed or disagreed, and you all felt free to kind of do the same and chime in with more information, different perspectives, which showed to me as a collective you have thought these things through. So that stood out to me. So I echo everything Dan said. You should be very pleased with your presentation, and best of luck.
Yes, I agree. I thought you guys did a very nice job, and you should be commended, not only for your performance today, but for choosing to do We the People in what was already a very difficult school year. So I think you're to be commended for that. I don't have much to add. I thought the Q&A was a lot of fun. I thought your answer to the should we repeal the Electoral College, I thought it was a very sophisticated answer. You came through with lots of reasons, that it dilutes the votes. You should fix that with the national popular vote. You should go district based, but if you go district based, first you got to fix gerrymandering. I thought it was just a very well thought out and well-rounded answer to our question. So I appreciated that. And likewise, I thought the answers to the gerrymandering fix. I think it's a tough. I think nonpartisan commissions are a good solution. It's tough, right? When the Supreme Court has said that they don't want to get involved, it seemingly encourages state legislatures to continue to do it. And I'm pleased to hear that Nevada's apparently has done a good job, notwithstanding the incentives to do otherwise. But yeah, I think you guys did a very nice job, and you should be very proud of yourselves and the whole class. Congratulations on finishing up the day.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you
Yes, thank
again
you.
for your presentation. We really